Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. People don't cheat by chance. They cheat by choice. Today on rSpace, we learn that if you succeed in cheating on someone, don't think that the person you cheated on is a fool. Instead, realize that the person trusted you much more than you deserved. Up first, a liar liar, pants on fire. Karmic justice and happy ending. So those of you that frequent the sub know I comment here a lot. This will be my first, and likely only, post. For those that know me well, you'll also know I had a fast, easy, and amicable divorce, despite my ex cheating on me. I've never sought revenge, and never planned to. I promised to never badmouth him, never did, and still haven't. I never will. Many people on here love to ask if they should seek revenge, or how they can get back at a cheating spouse. My response, and many others' response, is always just to move forward and live the best life you can. Well, this is a story about how I did just that, and that was truly the best revenge I could get. It's also a happy ending story, so a story most will love. So, my ex and I split. Fast divorce, 50-50, no lawyers, filed online, done in a month and a half. I stayed in the house to live until we sold it. The first few weeks we tried to remain friends until I cut this off and he seemed sad, but fine with that. We remained on good terms, just not trying to be friends. The first sign of slight trouble came before we filed when he got a bit threatening about what I would and wouldn't get, but backed off when I reminded him we both just wanted to get it done. Second sign of trouble came when I asked him if he would entertain the idea of me buying him out. He said he would, but then proceeded to be a huge dick during the conversation, once again threatening me. This time by telling me he would sell the house without my permission since he's the only one on the title, despite us being in a community property state and it being purchased during the marriage. He told me he didn't need my cooperation, so I told him he wouldn't get much of it when it came to showings. Still, I allowed the house to be shown, just not as often as he would have liked. The price had to be dropped. When we got an offer, he wanted me to take it so bad he offered me more money than he would get, and some concessions as well. I didn't really even talk during this conversation. He just kept offering crap, so I took it. I won't list them all, but I accepted. He thanked me and our relationship was still cordial. Here's where it finally comes to an end. The day before the final walkthrough, I get the escrow breakdown that I'm supposed to sign off on. Lo and behold, the agreed upon amount that I was supposed to get wasn't correct. I tell the title company it's incorrect. She tells me she'll reach out to the ex and get back to me. She does, and tells me nope, he says it's correct. So, I text ex, tell him sale is dead, cancel the walkthrough. He panics, trying to get me on the phone. I refuse to answer. I finally do, recording the call of course, one-party permission. And he tells me he doesn't think it's fair I get more money than him. I told him I don't care about fair, it's the deal he made. He tells me he can just evict me. I tell him to do it and F off, and hung up. He panics and calls me back. Lots of back and forth for him to beg and plead for me not to kill the deal, and says he already emailed telling them to fix it. Here's the thing though. I told him too late. The deal is no longer valid. It expired when he tried to stab me in the back and missed. See, he was expecting that the walkthrough would have already happened. I'd have no leverage and be screwed. He swore that wasn't true. In typical lying, cheating, manipulator fashion, he pushed his luck one too many times and thought I would fall for his sob story about being so sorry and forgive him and just proceed. So what did I do? I made him pay. All night, I let him think the deal was dead so he wouldn't sleep, and the next morning, just hours before the walkthrough, I told him that if he wanted the deal to go through, he would pay me extra and never effing contact me again. So, the penalty? 5 times the amount he tried to take from me. If he just would have signed the deal he made, he'd have had a lot more money right now. He was supposed to be a 50-50 split on the proceeds of the house, ended up being 62-38, all because he wanted to be a dick to me. The lesson here? He got revenge on himself and I got justice. I was more than happy to walk away with 50-50, but he screwed me over so many times and this was the last time. This is a man who smugly told me a judge wouldn't care about his affair, adultery doesn't matter in our state, I would never get alimony, and he could evict me. Well, while he danced on the 50-yard line, I got the TD. Everything was completed today. All done. I knew karma would catch up to him, but I didn't expect it to be so fast. This was death by 1,000 stupid decisions. I got a lot of money out of him after our divorce was finalized, all due to his own hubris and ego. I got more money from the sale of the house than I would have had it sold for the original price. He would have been better off letting me buy him out. I wished him the best and truly hoped to remain on good terms with him, but I've shown him too much grace and kindness over the years. He doesn't deserve it. He finally got what he deserved and it was all self-inflicted. I felt a little bad for a moment when I saw the final payout, but then I remembered all the rotten things he did to me and all the kindness I showed to him. I also was still able to stick to my belief that you should never do something your future self wouldn't be proud of just because someone hurt you. My future self will be proud of me for getting justice and finally telling this man he pushed me too far. I didn't do anything wrong, so let the trash take out itself, Redditors. It always does. Got a community reaction from Little Black Cat. You've done well coping with all the crap he dished out, so don't listen to the posters on the divorce sub who implied that you're hypocritical. You're definitely not. To be honest, you were much too kind and accommodating, and he took advantage of that every single time. He is a manipulative liar who wanted more than was agreed on, thinking that you'd submit to his demands. You did what had to be done to protect yourself and your future. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'd say that I hope he learned a valuable lesson about accepting responsibility for his actions, but I doubt he's the type of person who will ever learn from his mistakes, much less atone for them. Narcs never do. Good riddance to him, and best of luck in all your future endeavors. You deserve all the happiness. The OP replies, "Thank you. My thoughts exactly, which is why I made the decision I did. I thought about it all night. At first, I was just going to make him think I was going to back out, and still go through with it. But in the end, I decided a financial penalty was more than warranted given what he'd put me through. I haven't even begun to touch on what that man has done to me the past few years, and I won't. No need. So the nerve of him to pull that crap after all the chances I've given, and kindness I showed him, is beyond the pale. Anyone who has dealt with a cheater knows that by the time you've tried to work it out with them for a couple of years, they've been given so many chances they shouldn't even begin to press their luck. But he did, many times over, and I still showed patience and kindness. Anyone calling me petty is an idiot. Petty would be trashing him. I haven't and won't. Very few people even know he's cheated. Friends of his have reached out to me and I've told them we just didn't work out and it was amicable. That's it. Most of my family doesn't even know. He doesn't deserve that, but I'm just not like that, and I never will be. Not now, not ever. I could still screw him in many ways if I were petty, but I'm not and have no desire. I just truly want to get on with my life. I was always happy with 50-50. He wasn't and screwed around too much. There comes a point you have to let someone know they can't F you around ever again. He got to that point, and so did I. These people who say I'm petty or I shouldn't have done it need to ask themselves how they would have dealt with someone who stabbed them in the back multiple times, but they'd forgiven. If that person tried to slit their throat and drop the knife after swearing they were sorry, do you think they would show mercy? Or would they give the knife back to them for another chance? I think most would at least make them pay. That's all I did. Made him pay. I didn't stab him in the back or slit his throat. I just made him pay. He got off easy. I could have shown much worse. His karma got him, not me. If the walkthrough had already happened, he would have laughed in my face and told me to F off. Make no mistake. You're right. He'll probably never learn. But it doesn't matter. I have, and that cheating, lying MFer will never get within a mile of me ever again. For me, that's worth its weight in gold. The next community comment comes from Taiwan Bandit. Nicely played, OP. You are moving forward. You are a survivor. Woozy010 says, savage. You're absolutely right, OP. There comes a point where you have to let someone know they can't F you around ever again. I think you were definitely in your rights to do what you did and set your boundaries. Not only that, but you were patient enough with him, and even after all that he did to you, he still attempted to pull a fast one. It's definitely an ego thing. I think he was testing you to see if he could still emotionally manipulate you. He tried to play the same games as he's always played, but it definitely backfired on him. It proves just how little he has changed in all of this, but how much you have changed. It's refreshing to see you stick up for yourself. Don't ever settle for anything less than you deserve. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Up next, fakes and phonies. Did anyone else have a partner who you 100% knew would never cheat, but did? So you get people who have cheated in past relationships, who cheated with you, and those who have been involved in a really rocky relationship, though still not a reason to cheat. But was you with someone who was completely perfect? My partner of 10 years was wholly in love with me. Our relationship was healthy. It was perfect. We were always smiling, laughing, doing activities together, just continuously being happy and having fun. Nothing was wrong at all. We couldn't get enough of each other. It felt as though we were missing a piece of ourselves whenever we were apart. Yet, he cheated on me, and it wasn't a, I was drunk, I didn't know what I was doing kind of cheat, even though that is still equally as bad, but at least then my brain could trick itself into thinking, okay, there was a reason. It was literally go out of his way, make plans, and do it kind of cheat. Why? I can't understand it, and it's freaking ruining me. The community responds, first from what now, 3339. Same. It's terrifying because someone can be the perfect spouse until one day they destroy you. No warning. Who was I even married to? How can I trust any person in the future when I know there are people out there who can pretend to be one person for 10 years and then suddenly be someone else? What is even real? Rad to the Bone adds, my ex-fiance was cheated on himself and was always very vocal against cheating. A month before D-Day, we were discussing with his mother about how disgusted we were at his uncle who had cheated 2 times on his wife, my ex-aunt. Our relationship seemed very healthy. Minimal fighting, lots of laughter and intimacy. I never knew anything was wrong. In fact, he told me everything was great. We were planning our wedding. Then, he slept with his married coworker in his truck after work one day. He'd known her for 3 months. Apparently, she was his soulmate. He didn't know how good love could feel until he met her. She promised to leave her husband for him. She didn't. Marsupial Maven's comment goes like this. A million years ago when I was young, I went through the police academy. I learned a lot. One of the things I still think about is when I was told anyone is capable of murder, or in this context, cheating. If you push the right buttons in the right order, any person is capable of doing these things. Luckily, it doesn't happen easily or often. What Life 1 joins the conversation. Same. I had no idea. Never saw it coming. It has broken me. I'm still trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces 7 years later. Stubborn Put 6966 has this to say. When I was starting a relationship with my latest ex, he was very adamant that he could never cheat. His ex-wife always suspected him of cheating, and per his claims, it was one of the things that ruined the marriage. Well, later he cheated, swore it was a mistake, etc. At first demanded me to exercise my own dignity and dump him, but then asked if we can try it again. I was stupid enough to say yes back then. A year later, he cheated again, with a woman his mother's age, and also admitted that he never finalized the divorce with his ex-wife. The whole thing is grossing me out still. For the first 3 months after breaking up with him, and completely going no contact, I cried a lot. Most days, I spent in sort of a crying, shaking daze, while trying to do enough work so I don't lose my employment. It's still hard, but therapy helps a lot. It's been 6 months and I feel a lot better. I don't think I have a recipe now how to trust people again. I'm not sure I need it. Therapy helped me feel that I can trust myself to break and pick myself up again if something horrible happens. That's all I need at the moment. Srofi adds in, I too was foolish enough to believe my wayward wife wouldn't do such a thing. I'm a couple months past the 1-year mark for D-Day. We are still trying to reconcile, and I would be lying if I said I don't still struggle. I'm doing much better than just a few months ago, but I still have some residual anger from all that has happened. People claiming they were drunk is just a cheap excuse. Some people cheat and others don't. I'm not shaming anyone, just stating fact. We are all capable of cheating. It's whether we actually do it or not that is all the difference. I had and continue to have multiple opportunities to cheat if I wanted to. I even had a very attractive coworker hitting on me after what my wayward wife did. I could have acted on it. The thought entered my mind for a split second, but to do so would be crossing a line I refuse to cross. It's not perfect by any means, but because of a pretty traumatic childhood and my own very strong beliefs about infidelity, cheating is something I refuse to do. To me, cheating isn't just disrespecting hurting the person being cheated on, it is also disrespecting hurting the betrayer. That's my opinion anyways. I'm so very sorry for the anguish you're going through. I'm no stranger to pain, but in my humble opinion, being cheated on by the person you love and thought you could trust has to be the worst pain to endure. Physical pain, unless from a chronic condition, is normally temporary, and you can manage it. The pain of a broken heart that just seems to wash over you in waves and gets triggered by things that you sometimes don't even realize are triggering you, at least for me, is something that I can't seem to brace myself for. Reconcile or not, I hope you find your way back to happiness. I'm still working on it and hope my wayward wife and I can reconcile, but if it doesn't work out for us, at least I know I tried. There's definitely truth in the statement, we're all capable of cheating. We are all faced with choices sooner or later. There's always temptations. I think people cheat for a number of reasons, but that doesn't make them justified. Some people cheat because they're unhappy with something in their lives or themselves. Their needs aren't being met in some form or another. They may find infidelity exciting, or they may have some type of sex addiction. I think whether we decide to cheat or not depends on the work we do on ourselves individually. I think if we practice self-love and self-respect, the less likely we are to cheat. What do you think? And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, please let us know what you thought of today's content. See you next time.